let's say you're walking around along the Santa Barbara beach and you see a giant gopher. It does just stare at you. And you're wondering, okay, it's a giant gopher. And it has a human torso with the arms of um, the arms of a pig. I mean, the pig arms. It's got pig arms and pig legs and a human head. No, I said it had a gopher's head, right? And then it has these huge eyes that I don't know. They're like orange or something, and they're usually like, what the fuck is this thing? No, let's start over again. I got to think of a better script. I mean, I'm trying to do some improvisational comedy here. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of some good idea for this. Let me think. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. Um, let's just say that you live in Oregon, in kind of a really remote area, and you live alone. You live in a town with like the population of like 100. You live alone in this huge house in Oregon, but there's not within a 20-mile radius, there's no other people but you. Starting to get a little bit lonely. You have plenty of food and supplies, resources. You've got television, you've got internet, you've got creature comforts and stuff like that, but you live alone. And then suddenly you're just watching TV one night and somebody rings the doorbell and it's you. It's somebody that totally looks exactly like you. But everything you say, the person who looks like you, that resembles you to like, it's like an exact match of you, says the exact same thing right back to you. If it's a question, it's just asking the same question. If it's a statement, it says the same statement right back to you. And somehow your soul actually, from moment to moment, it toggles back and forth from the body that you're currently inhabiting to the person at the door, the person who's looking into the door, the person who's like sees you through the door, and you go back and forth from, and when your soul teleports, or whatever you want to call it, into the mind and soul essence of the person at the door who resembles you, temporarily the body that you formerly inhabited is vacated as you observe that body that was formerly your body, and it starts to, it repeats this process. Then you inhabit, your soul inhabits the person who looked like you that was standing at the door, and it keeps going back really rapidly at some point, back and forth, and it does that for like a day. You wake up the next day, you don't currently inhabit either of these bodies. These bodies are genetically exactly the same as you. These two bodies that look exactly like you. They're both shut off psychically. They've both been disengaged mentally and psychically. So they're both kind of like just bodies, but somehow they're alive. And you're just observed. I mean, they're kind of like some kind of stuck in limbo between life and death. So you're kind of like, but your soul has been disembodied. And yet somehow you can observe these two bodies. They're both sitting on a couch in your house. And you're trying to you forgot which body is your real body. Was it the body at the door? The body that, because they both look exactly alike and they're both wearing the same clothes and they're both your body genetically, like 100%. It's like an exact match. DNA, pound for pound. They're both in terrible shape. Physical, well, not terrible shape, but they're, a little overweight. And but you're looking at your two bodies and you're trying to figure out, like, wait, which was my body? Which was that? I don't even know which body, because now you realize that you can go back into the body that you were originally in, but you're not sure which the right body was. You're not sure which body was your body because both of the bodies are exactly alike. So how do you figure this out? So if you inhabit the wrong body, then does it make any difference? Does it make any difference if you inhabit the body? Let's think about that. Let's think about that for a second. Well, let me think. If you, it does make a difference, and yet it doesn't. It's kind of a paradox. I mean, can two objects, that brings me to a philosophical question. Can two objects have the exact same physical properties, the same appearance, the same dimensions, the same proportions, the same measurements, the same tangible essence? Two objects, can they both be exactly the same? Can two bodies be exactly the same? Is that possible? Or is there always like a 0.0001% difference? Is it possible for, and if, and yet, and even so, if it was possible, if it was possible for two objects to have the exact same tangible essence, insofar as they have the same measurements, the same size, the same weight, the same physical appearance, the same color, exactly. Are they still different in any way? Are these two objects, can they still be differentiated in some way? And if you look at this on the atomic level, we're all made up of atoms. So people are the same on an atomic level. No, I don't want to. I don't want to go off into that direction with this philosophizing. No, scrap that. So what? So now I'm kind of like working backwards on a theory. I came. It's almost like starting with a conclusion and traveling back to the theory. I've got some kind of conclusion. Now I'm trying to figure out like what theory that that conclusion was drawn from. So maybe this theory that I'm having, this insight, maybe this idea that I'm being enlightened by, is something that had been revealed to me in some kind of like netherworld or some kind of other place that where ideas are born, and somehow I was given the not the not the fundamental, not the origin of idea, not the principal theory, but I was given the conclusion that was drawn from the theory, and I'm charged with the responsibility of like tracing it backwards to figure out what the theory is. But why why on earth would I be the receptor of a theoretical conclusion before I was given the theory itself? hmm, that's what I have to figure out, because now I have these conclusions, and I have these uh, not only conclusions, but a phenomenological, or a phenomenon that can't be. I'm given a phenomenon, okay, that needs to be explained by a theory. But before I psychically was given this theory, I was given the conclusions, or the phenomenon that the theory explains. And now I have to determine what the theory is by working backwards logically to start with conclusions and phenomenons, and a set of um, empirical data, quantitative data, trace it backwards to figure out what the theory is.